Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 26 of. Is it 26?
It is
I just
26.
I just
answered
wrote it down. I wrote it down, and then I put my phone over the bit of
God.
paper I'd written it on. Fucking hell! Do you know what a week we've had?
We have.
Jake forgot what day it was, and so we were supposed to record this on Tuesday. Jake forgot what day it was, so we've reconvened 2 days later, and I forgot which episode we were doing. So rather than the food related songs, I'd done my instrumentals. So I've now had half an hour to come up with 5 food related songs.
Yeah.
2 of which, weirdly enough, are instrumentals that I cribbed off my list.
We're losing it though. We're losing it. We need an
We're
administrator.
totally losing it. We need fucking brain transplants or lots of prescription drugs. One of the two, I don't really know.
I'll go with both.
Yes, but anyway, so this week is food-related songs. I could take a guess at one of Jake's.
You can't.
Jake won't have a clue about any of mine.
I won't.
Although, because I've only just fucking done them. But yeah, so
You think you'll get one of mine, do you? At least one.
I possibly. I thought I might, but now you've said that, if there's nothing overly obvious.
Well, Coil aren't in it.
That makes sense. But you still managed to mention them. So, should we just list them? Coil, Keith's Records. What were the
Terminal Cheesecake?
Terminal Cheesecake. Yeah, all the stuff we talk about all the time. Exmo Deutschland. Oh, did they do any food related songs? No, I don't think they did.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No.
No.
I did wonder
So
because there were bands with food related names as well, but I stuck with the song titles rather than the band names.
Yeah, and while I was checking things out, I happened to come. I did a quick search for food related songs in case there was anything that just went. Oh yeah, okay. That one.
Yeah,
and I spotted Black Pudding Bertha by the Goodies. So all English people who are listening who are our age, we go, oh yeah, and anyone else who's not from England, what the fucking hell's that? So yes, the Goodies was a TV comedy program that was around when we were kids, really, wasn't it?
It was. Tim Brooke Taylor, Bill Oddie, Graham Garden.
Graham Garden, yeah. And it was very funny. It was funny when we were 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was I do remember that they moved from BBC to ITV. And they did a punk episode where they all dressed punk, which would have been 77, 78, I should think. Yeah.
But it was kind of like a quaint British Python-esque type humour, wasn't it?
It was.
It was a bit off the wall, a bit weird.
But a bit more, I don't think it was necessarily aimed at kids, but I think kids appreciated it more than they did Python. I mean, I can remember watching Python when I was a kid. Didn't fucking understand it at all. I was like, And I don't think it was really until, I think the first Python thing I remember was Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
They used to come on the TV, and it was one of those things that my dad used to watch.
The film was on at the cinema in March when we were younger.
I do remember.
And it was a double A certificate, which was when you couldn't get in unless you were 14 or over. So we knew there'd be something like swearing, violence or nudity in it, which were all the things that you want to see in a film when you were 14.
Yeah.
So we went along and saw it, and I remember sitting there going, oh my God, this is the brilliantest thing I've ever seen, because it was so absurd,
yeah.
And very, very funny.
Yeah.
And limbs getting chopped off, and
then those segues into the animations.
Yeah.
Who was it who did the animations?
Terry
Gilliam. Yeah. Terry Gilliam's weird animations. So they were very avant-garde, very Dadaist.
Absolutely, yeah.
But before the films, they used to come on. Monty Python's Flying Circus used to come on. I can't remember what night of the week it was on, but it was one of those, like Old Grey Whistle Test, where my dad would watch it, and it would be kind of like a treat to sit with my dad and watch it, and he would chuckle away, and I would get the weirdness of the animations, but the rest of it, as you say, is a bit, when you're little, it's a bit kind of like...
Pythons, that started in 69, didn't it, I think?
Got it all together when they were at university, didn't they?
Yeah, Cambridge.
Yeah.
So, anyway, So there you go. We've been off on a fucking ramble already. Oh, good God. Right, do you want to go first?
I think it's your turn to go first. I'm happy to go first, but it's your
Is
turn.
it?
Yeah.
No, I'll go first. I'm happy to go first. Well, okay, so my first one is I kind of a bit iffy.
Oh, well,
I
start
cribbed
off
it.
like that,
I've
do
cribbed
we?
it off of my. I've cribbed it off of my. I've cribbed it off of my instrumentals list,
Oh, okay.
and it's a song called Arabian Jerk. So jerk chicken.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say, but is that what
So-
the song's about?
Well, I don't
it's
know
an
because it's fucking instrumental. So it could be. I mean, there's no one clucking in it. So I don't know. But yes, it's about jerk chicken. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a daft
So
question.
it's,
Yeah.
And it's a really great. It's a great song. I cannot for the life of me remember where I first heard it.
Who is it?
But it's a band called The Merits, and it was released back in, I think it was 1965.
Good grief.
Yeah. So round about when we were born.
Yes.
And it's yeah, and I can't, as I say, I can't remember where I first heard it, but I love it. And I've been putting it on playlists on Spotify for absolutely forever, just bunging it in here and there.
Oh, right.
So I was doing a bit of research today because I was looking at the wrong fucking thing, and I found out that, well, I was to say I found out I didn't really find out much about it at all. It's one of those songs by an American band that kind of came out and then kind of disappeared, really.
So did you say the Merricks, as in John Merrick?
The Merit, no
Merits,
merit,
right.
as in a good mark.
Yeah,
merit.
yeah.
You know. So it was a production for a label called Goldwax from Memphis, and apparently there was a stable of artists called Bandstand USA, and they'd provide backing on sound-alike versions of chart pop hits.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
Yeah. So and the Merits were a group of studio musicians, and I can't really find anything about who they were or anything. So they would then make these songs, release them, and then they'd probably
Go back
then
to their
release
day jobs.
another. Yeah, and then release as session musicians, and then release the next song under a different identity.
Oh, right.
And then, interestingly enough, it got picked up and was by the Northern Soul cruise in the 70s.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, well, that's understandable, but it doesn't sound like a Northern Soul. It's quite a slow tempo to it.
What kind of flavour is it?
So it's kind of got this. It's guitar, drums, and bass.
Right.
But the Arabian part of it is this motif going over the top, going like a snake charming thing.
So some kind of wind instrument.
Yeah, what it sounds like, you know, in the old films where you see someone charming a snake,
Yeah.
and they'd have one of those little
Pipe. Yeah.
whistle
yeah.
pipe things,
yeah.
you know, it's like that over the top
Okay.
of it. But the backing sounds kind of like a bit of a slow tempo garage band.
Okay.
It's really weird, and it's hard to, unless you've heard it.
I haven't.
You know, it's really, you know, difficult to appreciate.
So your first entry is possibly over the line from the brief. It's an instrumental. You know nothing about the band. You can't describe the music. Probably not your best choice, Dave.
Well, this was. I mean, to me, this was part of the charm of it. Was that it's this kind of anonymous band. It's a bit like, I think it's a bit like all the library music bands that we talk about all the time, who played for KPM and all of those library music labels.
Yeah.
And they'd come together and make a song, and then might release it as a single under such and such a name. And then, and there was also, I think, I can't remember whether I mentioned it before or not. I read this really interesting book last year about
Peter and Jane Go to the Zoo.
That was the one, yes, yeah, and it was the one with all the elephant shit. It was all about the English equivalents of the songwriting streets in America.
Okay.
You know, you'd have all these groups of songwriters banging out songs left, right, and centre. Well, this was all based, I think, around Denmark Street in London.
Yeah.
And they'd write these songs, and then they'd record them, and then they'd release it as, like, I think, I'm pretty sure Love Grows, Where My Rosemary Goes, but Edison Lighthouse was something like that. And so they'd release it as a single, and then if it got popular and Top of the Pops said, oh, they'd have to cobble together a band to go on there and mime it.
Okay.
And then Top of the Pops would say, a couple of weeks later, we want the people, we want this song. Can you come along? And these people would turn up and they go, hang on, you were here 2 fucking weeks ago, but you were called Edison Lighthouse then. And they're like, yeah, we might, but no, that wasn't us. That was someone else.
They got false moustaches on and big glasses and stuff.
And in the end, they had to stop them. And I imagine that's what the Merits are. One of those bands where did a song, released it. What should we call it? Pick a name out of a bowl. We're the Merits. Yeah, brilliant. There you go. Release that one next. And they do something else. But there's a great series called of records, or there are playlists for them on streaming sites as well, called Jungle Exotica. And Arabian Jerk is on volume 2 with lots and lots of very, very strange stuff. And because it's jungle, a lot of jungle related songs, of which there seem to be fucking millions. There's a Daktari song, there's a Tarzan song, there's songs about the jungle, apes, elephants, lots and lots of songs with people going,
dear,
stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but they're really good, they're mainly instrumental.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm pretty sure there's about at least six fucking volumes of Jungle Exotica.
I remember Daktari. That was a show and a half.
That was an American. Yes, the cross-eyed lion. Yeah. Clarence the cross-eyed lion. Yeah. Daktari. There's also a Tarzan song, of which Tarzan was another TV series.
It was, yes. Johnny
because
Weissmuller and then Joe Ely.
You're thinking of Ron Ely.
Ron Ely.
That's the one you're thinking of. He was our TV Tarzan. Yeah. So in my dad's generation, Johnny Weissmuller.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And Lex Barker.
I don't remember him.
Mike Henry. Oh, I could list
fucking hell,
loads of Tarzans. I know. Jane, Tarzan and Jane. Jane was played by Maureen O'Sullivan in some of them. I used to be able to do a Tarzan call, but my lungs aren't really up to it these days.
I still felt anxious that you were going to.
No, and I still find myself saying Umgawa. I don't know what that meant, but that was something Tarzan said, and it would stop elephants. Umgawa Matanga.
Oh God. There's Chungo we were talking about in one episode, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, with on Danger Island.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but Tarzan was great. It
was a while.
You remember who wrote the Tarzan books?
No.
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Was it?
Yeah.
You are.
I don't know.
A veritable store of trivia.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. But yes. So Arabian Jerk chicken is my first food related number. Lovely. Well, thank you for that one. I have not heard anything by the band or of the band before. Oh, you won't. As far as I can work out, Arabian Jerk is pretty much the only song they ever released. Okay. There were possibly a couple of other A-sides, but that's about it, really. Right. Well, we should look forward to it on the playlist. I shall be expecting something good. My number one then, this one you might be one of the ones or the one that you think I would have picked up on. It's a band we have mentioned a couple of times before, but it's not Coil or Swans or anyone like that. But we've not really talked
terribly much about the band, and they are awesome. We both think they're awesome. And this single was a pain to their vegetarianism, and it's a punk classic. It has some ferocious banjo soloing, and the opening line is delivered by Foghorn Leghorn, no less.
Oh,
it's
right, yeah.
Chicken Squawk by MDC. It's a fantastic record. And we haven't mentioned them a few times before, but we haven't filled in some of the gaps. But MDC, sometimes millions of dead cops, sometimes multi-death corporations, sometimes millions of damn Christians, millions of deceived citizens. It's one of those bands like Fetus.
Millions of Dead Children.
Millions of Dead Children was this single, and it's not released in 1985.
Oh, sorry, were you building up to that? Did I just butt in?
That's okay.
I apologise.
That's okay.
I apologise. I feel really bad now. I feel really bad. Hang on. Let me just wipe that tear.
That's all right. I'll edit you out. I might edit you out the whole thing. Yeah. But yes,
can't hurt.
So for
all I bring is a sex appeal. So you know.
Oh God, which can only be guessed at when we're not on video. So yes, millions of dead children.
I did talk about AI in you the other day. I bet you could fucking AI me quite easily. You know, if you just program ChatGPT to kind of spout out loads of nonsensical bollocks every other now and then talk over me for a bit. Butting every time I try and get a sentence started.
And looks in the same kind of way as Jeremy Corbyn, and then we've got you. So
Jeremy Corbyn has actually got more hair than me at the moment. So
I haven't seen him for a while. He's kind of vanished since all of that furore over the start of his new party.
Yes,
and his conflict with Sultana and so on. But I'm sure he'll pop up again.
Yep. I haven't had a conflict with Sultana since I had trouble opening a bag of mixed fruit.
It's easy. It's too easy, that one.
I like to keep up with current affairs. See, I'm raising the game. Oh, God, I'm going to have a fucking aneurysm if I think of anything.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, so...
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Moving on from Small Fruits. 1984...
What do you call me?
you small fruit. Oh, dear. So... 1984, the release of Chicken Squawk under the name Millions of Dead Children's. And like much of punk, it is a howl of rage and injustice. But unlike a lot of punk, it's presented within some very deft musicianship. One of the notable things about this record, it was wrapped up in a huge fold-out sleeve, which was completely filled up with loads and loads of eloquent, data-qualified information about starvation and famine globally and about the inequality and injustice in the world. It's furious and articulate, and there's lots of pictures in there, black and white pictures from around the world of starving children, hence Millions of Dead Children, which they could easily do still today because there are still millions that are dying, but we won't go down that road. So the track's serious and it's comedic. It's high-speed, hokey hillbilly music, really. You've got the lyrics all about vegetarianism, and it's extrapolating meat eating with Disney animals. So you've got lines like "Porky Pig is not my dish," and "Wishing Daffy lots of luck, 'cause Elmer Fudd is hunting duck," and "Bugs Bunny is a friend of mine. Eating him, I'd feel like Frankenstein," etc. So it's good fun, but it gets an important message across as well. When this came out, for some bizarre reason, the people I was hanging around with, we got into counting, and
sorry, I think I misheard. I think you said we got into counting.
Counting. It was a weird thing. We were in I think it was a WH Smith's or a Woolworths at some point, and there were some packs of disposable cutlery packed in like 6 spoons, 8 forks. And somebody just looked and pointed and went 6. And then somebody else looked at another packet and went, 8. And that kind of expanded into something that went on for weeks until at some point, somebody counted all the words on the cover of Chicken Squawk. And it was about...
That was fucking you, wasn't it?
It wasn't. I think it might have been my brother, actually. But it was about 4,500 words on it. And by that time, we kind of been building and we kind of gave up a bit there. But it wasn't an odd thing to do, I guess. But anyway... doesn't detract from the fact that the track was great.
Detract from the fact. Detract from the fact.
Yeah,
it doesn't detract from the fact.
I don't think MDC were necessarily planning to divert the focus of attention from the very worthy messages they were given to how many words they'd used. It was a fab track anyway, and they really could play for a hardcore band. I don't think we've really said anything about them before. They were originally called The Stains.
In fact, I think I've done them twice already.
We talked about the first album.
I had that first LP.
And you sold it and you rebought it again.
John Wayne was a Nazi.
John Wayne was a Nazi,
because that was originally a Stains track, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They first recorded that when they did in Stains, and then that went on to...
but slower version, not quite as rip-roaring as the one that ended up on the first record. But it's a great track, great bass intro.
That first LP is one of the greatest LPs.
It is.
Greatest punk LPs ever made. I love it. I fucking... Yeah. Fantastic album.
They were the first US punk band to tour the USSR, which, considering that they've got a gay singer, was pretty brave. I didn't realise that it had such a big fallout with Bad Brains. HR of Bad Brains was extremely homophobic.
Yes. I was reading about that a few weeks ago in something or other. Yeah, that's really weird. You should mention that. There was a massive fight about something.
Yeah, but it wasn't about Dicta being gay, the singer with MDC. It was about another band they were touring with, and Bad Brains owed them some money or something. And when HR with Bad Brains discovered that the singer of this other band, whose name escapes me, was gay, he gave him a load of shit and left a note saying, "You can fuck off, you satanic bomber clot," or something of that nature, which was pretty bad. And MDC and then fell out as a consequence. Apparently, that chant, no war, no KKK, no fascist USA, you can hear that getting shouted at some of the anti-Trump protests that are going on at the moment. So that's kind of had legs.
Green Day did when Trump first got elected, I think. Green Day did a award show. Were playing live and stopped their song and started doing like a jammed, and then Billy Joe Armstrong said so, and then they started singing no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA, which went down particularly well, obviously. But so as much as people say, "Oh, Green Day aren't punk," they still do make an effort to maybe multi-millionaires now, but
I can't believe how relatively youngish they still appear, because they've been going for donkey's years.
Yeah, I saw them about 1994, I think. 93, 94, they played Junction, Cambridge, and we all bummed along there, and that was great. That was when Dookie first came out.
I was never a big fan of Green Day. Never really.
You're not much of a pop punk fan, are you?
Really, no.
But yeah, I am.
Well,
so
that's okay.
Yeah.
And your small fruit as well. Your dried fruit. So
I do indeed.
What a combination. So that's my number one.
Just can't go wrong, can you?
That's my number one. So not a lot more to say than that.
Super job. Okay, excellent. Right, okay, so my number 2 is you'll know this one. You'll definitely know this one. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you the first 2 lines of this song. I won't sing them. I'll do them in my best. Acting. Right, ready? Hosing out the cab of his pickup truck, he's got his 8-track playing really fucking loud.
No.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Jake, you're such a disappointment. You really are. Okay, my number 2 is a song called Fish Fry by one of the greatest bands ever to walk the earth, Big Black.
What's that on?
Songs about fucking.
Ah, a record I've never possessed.
So let me try. It goes a bit more like this. Holding out the cab of his pickup truck, he's got his 8-track playing really fucking loud. It was about so the song was about well the you know they used to let me get some context here. So Big Black are one of my favourite bands of all time, and I believe one of yours as well.
Oh yeah.
Although you prefer Atomizer to my songs about fucking.
Atomizer and Racer X. So I think.
Yeah. So formed in 1981 or thereabouts by the godlike Steve Albini. Take a drink, because we talk about Steve Albini all the time because we are in awe of his unfortunately now deceased brilliance.
Indeed.
And it was originally, Big Black was originally Steve Albini and a drum machine. And he played the bass and the guitar, and he sang about anything nasty he could possibly think about. If you look on Discogs, it says something along the lines of the band's lyrics flouted commonly held taboos, yeah, not much, and dealt frankly and often explicitly with politically and culturally loaded topics, including murder, rape, child sex abuse, arson, racism, and misogyny. So the usual kind of thing. Yeah. And he was quite unapologetic about the things that he said. Well, at that time, was unapologetic about things he said, the songs he sang, and was, I think, what they refer to these days as a bit of an edgelord.
Edgelord.
He would say edgelord.
Another term I've heard.
Is the common phraseology. Yeah, someone who just says things just to shock.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. In later life, he did actually apologise quite publicly about the things he said, and completely took ownership and said, look, I was a fucking dickhead. I shouldn't have said those things. There is absolutely no excuse whatsoever that I can give. But I apologise, and, there is... And it was like, yeah, fucking brilliant. And then went on to become a pretty fucking excellent type of chap, although he's already heading that way anyway.
Yeah, doing lots and lots of production work.
And lots of it for... very cheaply to allow small bands to record. But Fish Fry is about basically, and again, I'm harking back to the liner notes on songs about fucking, which actually described the guitars as, well, it said the band at that time was David Riley, who played bass, Santiago Durango,
great name,
who played guitar, grr, and Steve Albini, who played guitar, sking. And that was how he's and the album recorded by John Loder at Southern Studios and with Ian Burgess in North London, I think they were. Who I think they were very happy working with. They loved John Loder and Ian Burgess, and worked with them as much as they could. But yeah, so anyway, back to the liner notes. Sorry, I'm flicking backwards and forwards. So his liner notes were all very. They never put the lyrics in, but he just wrote notes about the different songs. And this was about. He said it went like this: as near as anyone can tell, he went to her family's fish fry, took her to the drive-in, beat her to death with his boot. And that was him. Beat her to death with his boot.
With his boot, right? Okay.
With his boot, yes. And threw the body into a pond. And most of these songs that he wrote were all based on true stories he'd just seen in the press, things that had happened. But just a great band, one of the greatest bands ever, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's strange, you know. I really did like Big Black, and Atomizer is one of the finest records that came out of that decade, if not wider. I've seen Big Black live, I've seen Shellac live, I've met Steve Albini, but do you know what? I don't know.
Have you? I didn't know. I knew you'd seen Big Black because I never got to see Big Black, but I did see Shellac.
Yeah. I met him at Shellac gig at ATP. Actually, he had he's in the bar.
Oh, okay.
But despite all of that, and I know there's a record, songs about fucking.
Did you say, "Hello, Mr. Albini, nice to meet you"?
We chatted for a few moments about what I can't remember because I was a bit pissed. But they seemed like, because the whole of Shellac, and they all seemed very, very nice and accommodating and friendly. But despite all of that, and knowing that there's a record, songs about fucking, I don't think I've even heard it, let alone own it.
Really?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? No, it's that hole that I never really got to fill.
My gob is smacked. I just think songs about fucking is their finest hour.
Better than Atomizer.
It is. I think I appreciate Atomizer is a brilliant record, but I think all in all, songs about fucking is more. Atomizer seems a bit. It's pulled from different places. You know, it doesn't seem like a complete LP. Whereas I think songs about fucking does. You know, it's more of an LP, quotation marks. You know, than a collection. You know, it flows properly. It's got it's even got a beginning, middle, and an end, really. Because when you listen to it, you know, if you were to take the songs out of order, if you were going to put it together, you would put The Power of Independent Trucking as the first song, and you would put Bombastic Outro as the last one because it's called Outro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you just wouldn't change it. It's by no means a perfect LP, but it's an absolute barnstormer.
Well, it's a mystery. It's a mystery why I've never listened to it, let alone bought it. But clearly now I'll have to go and seek it out and see what I've been missing all these years.
It's on all the streaming. It's on all the streaming
let's have a listen.
So it's I just think it's quite fucking marvellous, to be honest.
But it's like we said before, you know, particularly back when we didn't have an awful lot of money, you just couldn't buy every record by every band you really liked. And there were holes in my... I haven't got every Coil record, you know. I haven't got every...
What?
Yeah, no, it's strange. You can't just keep up with everything, even now when money isn't so much of an issue. And I do buy...
speak for yourself.
Well, it's not as much of an issue as it was back then, certainly for you either.
Yeah.
But even though you buy a lot more records now... you can't be completist about every band you like.
Oh no. I have got out of that. I think the last one for me was Fudge Tunnel. I've still got a massive collection of Fudge Tunnel records and CDs and tapes and everything. But I have got out of that habit of having to have everything now. You know, it doesn't really appeal to me as much as it used to.
Yeah.
And I think if for no other reason than I've kind of got to grips with the ADHD side of that.
Right.
You know, and I tell myself I don't need to have every single thing. You know, it's not a competition. No one fucking cares. You know. So I have kind of weaned my way off of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also everything's so freely available now. There's no need to own everything. I still like buying records.
Yeah.
But I often think I didn't really need to buy that. You know, I've bought it for the sake of it. There's still a part of that. You know, I think ideally I'd probably sell off the majority of my records, just rebuy the things that I know I'm going to play regularly, and I could probably get by with a. You can't sing, read, listeners, but I'm putting my hands up about far apart. I could get away with that amount of...
About a decent salmon size, a number of records.
Yes, yeah. Fucking salmon? Well, yeah, I suppose so.
It is.
Well, but let's call it a shark. But I could probably, you know, I probably could get rid of, you know, and I've been selling records left, right and centre. I've still got fucking...
You've still got quite a lot. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, but you do kind of start to think, why, especially getting older, why am I, why? I think we've had this conversation before, haven't we?
We've touched on it before, yes. I think there's still something to be said about the thrill of getting a brand new double coloured vinyl limited edition come through the post. And it might be something. I mean, the vinyl, I don't really buy CDs anymore. They're kind of in a no man's land between they're not an artifact really nice to have, and they're not fundamentally a great deal more impressive than having the download anyway. So I'll either buy the download, or I will, if it's a particularly interesting release or an interesting format, I'll get the vinyl. I never listen to anything really on streaming though. So the stuff that I listen to is either stuff that I've bought or it's on the radio or something.
See, I do a bit of everything really. I do still buy CDs, but I tend, if I buy a CD these days, it's normally a compilation. I prefer to have compilations on CD. I don't know why, right. But I'll often have a day playing vinyl because I'm working from home.
Yeah,
I have a day playing vinyl. I'll have a day maybe playing tapes. I'll be streaming on every Friday, Saturday. I'll be streaming all the new releases to see what's what.
Yeah.
And then CDs, it's I kind of a bit of everything. But again, with CDs, I've got fucking thousands of bloody things,
and they're not intrinsically worth anything in the main.
No. Yeah, most of them, I kind of, I'll be in a charity shop and I'll look and I'll go, oh, I'll buy that and I'll listen to it. But I'll never listen to the fucking thing. It goes in a pile with all the others unlistened to stuff. I do find the odd. I found a really good Candy Staton CD of really old stuff from when she was, pre that song.
Young Hearts Run Free.
Young Hearts, yeah, pre Young Hearts. Yeah. And that's really good. And like I say, I've got a few good compilation CDs. Just got a really good electronic one that Cold Spring released.
Okay.
Various like 70s UK electronic. But yeah, there we go, waffling on. Fucking hell. Anyway, so that is number 2. Big Black Fish Fry, one of the greatest bands of all time. If you like loud music, you should listen to Big Black. Indeed. You would. They are good. Heavenly. Very good indeed. Yes.
Very good indeed. Yes. But I need to fill that gap now that I can.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 2 then is Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs.
I was in a charity shop and I picked up a lovely copy of a Booker T and the MGs LP, actually. But not with Green Onions on it.
Okay. It's a great song. It's a great food. Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, antioxidants.
Fucking hell. Thanks, Dr. J.
I'll do some proper research here. Green onions.
Are you going to tell us about the contents of the rest of Booker T's garden?
No.
Well, no. Booker T's allotment. He had some carrots. He had some.
What a great song! Dear. What a great song! It's a debut single. I'll cut that out.
Do you want to take a break to put your teeth in properly?
I have to. Or are you okay? Debut single released in 1962, which was the same year.
Was it really?
Yeah. The same year as the band formed.
Fuck me, I didn't realise it was that old. Bloody hell.
So they were quick off the mark. They formed in Tennessee, led by Booker T. Jones on keys, Steve Cropper, alias the Colonel, on guitar, Al Jackson on drums, and Louis Steinberg on bass. He was...
Any relation?
What, Louis Steinberg? No.
Al Jackson?
No.
Was he a great uncle twice removed or anything?
Certainly not. No. In fact,
just checking.
But Louis Steinberg, he was replaced by Donald Duck Dunn very quickly in, and ducks keep cropping up as well. I think Alien Sex Duck was featured in one of our previous episodes.
Fuck off.
I'm sure that they got referred to as Alien Sex Duck in a previous episode, but never mind.
Possibly, yeah.
So, in a similar vein to...
UK Duck A.
That's stretching it. In a similar vein to the session band that you were talking about a few moments along, Booker T were originally the Marquees, and they were the Stax House Band. So they played backing for lots of the big hits of the time: Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Bill Withers, and so on. They didn't have their own identity as such. They were one of the first racially integrated bands because they had 2 white members and 2 black members, and they did that. They were session musicians playing backing. Stax Records claimed that the MG stood for Memphis Group, but others amongst the band said otherwise, and it was named after the British sports car. And it turns out that the latter was true. The car was owned, and the MG was owned by producer musician Chips Moman, who worked at Stax, and they were using that, but they got into some difficulties with the MG Motor Company, who were a bit sniffy about the reference to their car brand for some obscure reason. So they stayed as MGs, but Stax said it was named after something else. So copyright laws, stupid people getting in the way, as they do. And that gets even worse now. I think Cadbury's have even copyrighted the colour they use for the chocolate wrappers.
Fuck's sake.
There's been all kinds of cases. There was a case where a monkey grabbed the camera from a tourist, and I can't remember where it was. Probably Gibraltar, probably.
That's got to be,
probably. But the camera was used by the monkey to take a photograph, and PETA, the organisation, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, actually took the camera owner to court, claiming that the monkey had ownership of copyright for the photograph taken. Yeah. There's another good one that I found.
What did the monkey say about it?
Not a lot, I don't think. Not a lot. Ooh, you were doing the noises earlier. You did them so well as well.
I didn't. I did. Did I? I thought I did. I did umgawa. I see. I would have said umgawa, and that the monkey would have come and gave me the camera.
Speak the language.
And then I said umgawa matanga, and he'd have fucked off.
No, you did do some ahs when you were talking about jungle.
I would have
records.
had to be wearing a loincloth at the time, and doing my time. No, I'm not going to do it. Can I do my Tarzan yet?
No, please don't. He's done it. I knew you'd do it eventually.
Hey, that was pretty fucking decent.
It were bad.
I'm going to put a poll on. Was my Tarzan cry any good? So everyone can vote on how good my Tarzan cry
I'm
was.
going to replace it with something else, some other strange noise.
I wonder, what I want to know is if somebody plays this really loud and they're near a jungle, when I do my Tarzan call, will all the animals come out of the jungle and sit there looking, waiting for Tarzan to come out and go, umgawa matanga?
I'm sure that's going to happen. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Got to. It's got to, hasn't it? Got to.
Anyway,
I have got the build of Johnny Weissmuller because he was a bit fat.
Now that he's dead.
He was quite big. No, when he was still alive, obviously. I mean, I'm not that skinny that I could pass for a dead Johnny Weissmuller.
He always looked like he was holding his stomach in.
That's exactly what I look most of the time. And every now and again I'll go, because I've got a cramp because I've been doing it for so fucking long.
Who was best then? Who was the best Tarzan?
Well, I mean, considering when Tarzan films were made, the originals were made very, very early on in Talkies history. Probably
they made it in Torquay.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
In the same place that they made Fawlty Towers. Yeah.
How about that?
And when the Talkies came out, I think they originally started making Tarzan films around about 32, 33. Might have been a bit later. But they also, because they made the one where Tarzan took on the Nazis at one point.
Oh, really?
And I think that was, Johnny Weissmuller made loads. He must have made 20 or 30 at least, I think.
He was a world champion swimmer, wasn't he?
He was. He was an Olympic champion. Yeah. And he was a big bloke. But what I always liked about Johnny Weissmuller was he was a big bloke, but he was a bit podgy, and you'd watch him and you go, you just let it flab out a little bit because you thought, well, Johnny Weissmuller can get away with it. But he was fucking cool. He was a cool dude.
Yeah.
Lex Barker, they kind of, I think Lex Barker, if I remember rightly, was some kind of bodybuilder. I think a lot of them were. the later Tarzans.
Well, Ron Ely wasn't stacked with muscle, from what I can remember.
No, he was. No, he wasn't, was he? But I think who was Mike Henry? He was one. But Mike Henry also played Hercules at one point as well. I think he was kind of one of the '60s Tarzans. How the fuck do I know so much about Tarzan? I'll tell you why, because my fucking dad loved Tarzan films.
Okay.
And we watched them. My dad loved westerns, or loves, because he's not dead yet. But my dad loves westerns and Tarzan films. Right. That's all I remember from back when I was a kid. Oh, and Abbott and Costello comedies.
Yeah.
And we'd watch them on TV all the time. So, and I just remember all these Tarzans. I'm sure there's lots I've forgotten, but they were the 4 main ones, I think.
Okay, so this record then, it came about quite serendipitously because the band members had turned up at a studio for a session in their capacity as a backing band for Billy Lee Riley, who...
Green Onions, isn't it? Fuck, I forgot what fucking song you're talking about. we went off such a Tarzan
It's a very Tarzan-oriented. We should have done a Tarzan-focused session, but... Yeah, so Billy Lee Riley, it was bizarrely born in the town of Pocahontas, which I never knew existed.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell! There's another tangent to go off on.
There's another one. Don't do it.
No, I'm not. No.
But Riley was late, so the band began to jam away, and the engineer thought it was good enough and ran the tape. And they ended up with a song called Behave Yourself. But the song, which they just expected to be an A-side, needed a B-side. So they jammed away a bit more, and what came out of that was to become Green Onions. And Green Onions sold over 1 million. It got to number 1 in the US Billboard R&B charts and number 3 in the pop charts. And it was very much the biggest selling single they ever had. And bearing in mind they did Soul Limbo, which was the cricket thing.
Snuff did a copy of that, a cover of that, didn't they?
Yes, yeah. But they also did Time Is Tight, which is an absolutely terrific record. But Green Onions far outsold all of that. And it's a gloriously warm, liquid soul jazz funk instrumental. The bass and drums lope along in a kind of languid riff, and it's the classic 12-bar blues progression. Jones is on his Hammond, he's on an M3, and it's got a warm, mellow sound, and then these little stabs of guitar come in. The band did split up and reform several times, and they've had lots of lineup changes as well. But the last reformation was cut short by Jackson's murder in 1975. He was shot multiple times in his own home. And like a lot of people we've spoken about in these last few episodes, had quite a messy end. Bizarrely, before this, only a few months earlier, his own wife had shot him in the chest.
Did she have an alibi?
I have no idea if she was waiting for an alibi or anything else. But she
must be a podcast about it. I'll see if I can find it. I'll let you know.
It was waiting for an alibi. That was Thin Lizzy, wasn't
it? I have no idea.
Waiting for an alibi, something like that. Yes. So of the other band,
Golden Tonsils Jackson.
Fuck off. So other members of the band, Cropper turned up in the movie The Blues Brothers and went on to play in the Blues Brothers band, along with some of the others that had passed through.
I'm pretty sure Donald Duck Dunn was in the Blues Brothers as well, yeah.
And drummer Willie Hall, who had been in one of the later incarnations of the MGs. So Jones and the MGs...
Great film.
It is a brilliant film.
Great film.
It is a brilliant film. Yeah. Have you ever seen the second one? Because there was a second one, wasn't there?
Yes. Shit.
Is it?
I think it's the best way to describe that. Yeah.
First one's great.
Yeah. First one's classic. Absolute classic.
Great music, great story, great acting. Whole works. Yeah. But yes.
It's 107 miles to Chicago. Yeah, we've got half pack, full tank gas, half pack of cigarettes. It's dark. We're wearing sunglasses.
That's it. Yeah.
Hit it.
Yeah. So Jones and the MGs have appeared in some backing bands: Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, and all their releases have been instrumental, but they are a backing band after all. So there it is. So Green Onions, I think, is another great food-related song.
Excellent. Very good choice. Yes, I would if I'd have had a week to think of songs rather than 30 minutes, I would maybe pick that one as well. Okay, my next one is a song by someone we've discussed before.
Oh, right.
Mr. Lee Scratch Perry.
Oh, right.
And it's called Roast Fish and Cornbread. Taken from the LP Roast Fish, Collyweed and Cornbread, which is actually a really interesting LP, because he'd been making music for quite some time, always been a bit bonkers. I mean that in the nicest possible way, and this was the first album of his that he produced at Black Ark, and the first to consist entirely of his songs sung by himself, which is an experience. Not in a nasty way, but he's not like, you're not talking a natural singer here. So when he submitted it to Island Records, they went, "Nah, don't think so, mate. What the fucking hell's this?" And if you listen to it, you can see why. And this particular song is it's really hard to. I've listened to it. I've listened to it a couple of times before, in the break and while I was compiling this, and it is quite bonkers. It's very, very slow for a start. I mean, and you it's like it's a reggae song. Obviously, it's a reggae song, but it's just so woozy. It's a proper woozy, dubbed out reggae song, and it doesn't sound like the kind of thing you would have expected from around that time, I don't think. In that, and you can see why the record company would have gone, what the fuck, it's probably kind of like, when the first ambient records came out and people went, the fucking hell's this? It's not quite a dancey, but we don't get it, and and I could see why they'd say that, but it's a great song, and his his style of singing, he's probably more of a toaster, a DJ than a singer. But I fucking love it. I mean, I do struggle occasionally with Lee Perry because sometimes it is a bit too much. He can be. I mean, some of the stuff he's done is absolutely mind blowing, but some of it can be a tiny bit tedious sometimes, because I think that's what happens when you've got someone who's, to all intents and purposes, a bit of a genius. You let them go off on their own and do whatever they want. But I think a lot of times with a genius, they're convinced that everything they do is fucking brilliant, and it's not. I don't
know. I think the thing is, when you're experimenting, if you're experimenting in anything, the very fact that you are forging a brand new path, there will be missteps along the way.
Absolutely.
Whether you recognise that yourself or not, that's what
I think. That's more my point. Yeah. I think some people are kind of able to do that. I think like Aphex Twin. I think he knows where to start and where to stop. But sometimes I always thought that Lee Perry didn't.
Yeah.
And he would be a bit overindulgent sometimes.
Yeah.
A bit overly self-indulgent.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Roast Fish and Cornbread, it as I say, it's a bonkers song. It is so woozy. It's just something a bit, when you listen to lots of reggae, and then you every now and again you hear something a bit different. This is just compared to a lot of stuff. It's just a little bit off kilter. It's one of those things where you go, whoa, hold on. There's something going on there, and I can't quite. It's just a bit, like I say, a bit on the woozy, off kilter side. Not a lot more I can say, because I think we've covered Lee Scratch Perry before.
Yeah. And we talked
so
about dub in its structure and workings
absolutely.
as well.
So, yeah, so there's not much more I can say. This is going to be quite a short one.
I'll be honest, I don't like the track very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know
I
it?
know
Do you
it.
know?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying about it?
Yeah.
Are you referring to that song or the whole album?
I don't know the album. I know that song.
Yeah, because I have struggled with that album before.
Right.
In fact, I don't even know if I've got a. I don't think I ever bought a physical copy of it because I just didn't know what to do with it. Really, I didn't know if I'd ever play it. But that particular song, obviously, it's got food in it, so just made it a bit easier. But yeah, and but I do like that song. But again, yeah, the whole LP itself, I do struggle with a bit.
Okay.
And a lot and again with a lot of Lee Perry stuff, I do some of it I think is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Super Ape, War in the Babylon, all these production that the War in the Babylon was Max Romeo, wasn't it? And but Super Ape and Return of Super Ape by Lee Scratch Perry, fucking amazing LPs.
I've got both those LPs and there are some great tracks on them, but I don't think they're consistently brilliant all the way through, either of them.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think his productions, these productions are better than his LPs.
Yeah.
And some of the later stuff, I haven't really got a lot of time for. Although he did remake one of the Super 8 LPs. In fact, he did a couple of LPs a few years ago. That were really, really good.
Right.
But then he did a couple that were a bit shit as well. So, I can't remember what they're called because I wasn't expecting to have to refer to them. I'm just typing in Lee Perry to see if I can find out what those later LPs were. But this is the other thing. You type in Lee Perry and you've got Lee Scratch Perry. You've got Lee Perry and the Upsetters and goodness knows what else. It's like on here. So I'm just checking on here now. 486 different records on here, so I'm never going to find the ones I want. But yeah, so some of the later ones were good, but some of them were quite dreadful.
Give Me Power, Lee Perry and Friends is another one I have.
He did some with the Orb. The ones with the Orb weren't too bad. He did some with what's his name? On You Sound guy.
Oh,
yeah, I'll think of him at some point, and I'll go, that's the one he did. So he did Super 8 Returns to Conquer with the subatomic sound system, and that was really good. And Back on the Controls, that was the other one.
Oh, right.
They were later albums, 2014 and 2017, and they were both really good. The ones with the Orb were, they were okay. Lots of there's a few compilations on Pressure Sounds that are worth a listen.
Oh, Adrian Sherwood, that's it.
That's Adrian Sherwood. That's him. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. We did some with him and the Dub Syndicate years ago, and they were pretty decent. But yeah, also produced Complete Control with the Clash.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Look,
don't know what made you think of that.
To that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll shut up now. You can do your number three. Yeah, we're number three, aren't we?
Okay, my number three then is a track by probably one of my favourite bands right now at the moment. It's a track called Peach Fuzz, and it's by a band called...
I should know this, shouldn't I?
I don't know. You may well have heard of them. I think they're quite a newish band. They've been around since 2018, but they've not got a huge amount of recorded output to date.
Go on. Who is it?
Mandy, Indiana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mandy, Indiana.
They got a new album coming out, haven't they? Next couple of weeks, I think.
Yes. Which I should have a nice coloured vinyl dropping on my door just before I fly, so hopefully, yes.
Wunderbar. Wunderbar.
Mandy, Indiana. So, Peach Fuzz is a track taken from their thoroughly brilliant 2023 album, I've Seen a Way. Like all their records on Fire Talk. Apparently, the album was recorded part in a cave and part in a crypt. And one of the things that Mandy, Indiana do is they tend to do a lot of their recording outside of the studio because they don't much like studios and find the visual stimulation and the atmosphere of being out of the studios be part of the creative process. But they get called a noise rock band whenever people seek to put them into some classification. But I think that does them a bit of an injustice. I think noise rock is a very kind of restrictive genre. Well, I suppose as all genres are. But Mandy, Indiana, whilst they have a guitarist and they have a drummer, their sound is very, very much more influenced by huge amounts of electronics and electronic processing of those instruments and electronics as part of the instrumentation. And it's at times it's proper industrial noise, experimental electronics, and sometimes it's still discernible that they're doing stuff outside of that. That was a crap way of saying that it's not all like that. Yeah. I'll edit that because I can, but it doesn't matter anyway. Bloody genres. They're from Manchester. Although the vocals are sung
She's French.
In French.
She's French, yeah.
It's her native language, Valentine Caulfield's native language. She studied, actually, music at the Paris Conservatory. She studied classical vocal. But it's not entirely obvious from the records. So along with herself, guitarist / producer Scott Fair, synths Simon Catling and Alex McDougall on drums. And as I said, they've been together since 2018. The name Mandy, Indiana, as you might notice, there's nobody in the band called Mandy and they don't come from Indiana. But they just thought it sounded good. There is a place, Gary, Indiana, but they've got...
Is that where you come from?
But they've got no connection to that at all. So it's great. I think I've got all of the records so far. But this song, it begins with this synthesized soaring noise and some yelps, and it develops with a deep muffled kick drum and these semi-absorbed sucking heavy electronics. It evolves into this...
I have all those sounds going on in my head now, and I think they probably sound fuck all like the music. Because when you said soaring, I couldn't work out whether you meant soaring as in up in the air, or like
soaring. No, it's a kind of synthesized kind of noise.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then the kick drum comes in. It's just quite a muffled thump, 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 and it turns into a kind of really filthy dance track. There's lots of hissing and roiling electronics, scatters of percussive vocals and yelping.
I would have said dance rather than anything else. Rather
than noise rock.
Yeah. I thought it was more dancey when I've listened. I'm not listened to it a huge amount of times, but I listened to it, once. I don't know, 3 or 4 times. I don't know.
Well, this track
and
on
I didn't
the
remember
album.
The album,
right.
And I thought, that's really noisy, but I would have put it more on the dancier side of noise.
Yeah, I don't think much of it is as overtly dancey as Peach Fuzz, but it's more that way leaning than noise rock, perhaps. I think it's a testament to what they're doing, to the difficulty that they get being put into a proper classification, because they are really doing stuff that I don't know who else is doing it. I mean, there'll be bits and pieces of all kinds in there, but it's not. But it is largely unique to themselves. So all this noise, this hissing, this sucking, and these yelps go on, and she starts shouting. Valentine starts shouting, and it sounds like an angry supervisor in a factory where it's really noisy, and there's machinery and heat and steam. But what she's actually shouting is that it's not a revolt, it's a revolution. So to the barricades, comrades, or whatever. But it's got bags of menace. and a real brutal raw force. There's some screaming on there that's been sampled, and these distant screams that come through, which were actually sampled in a shopping centre in Bristol. So fuck knows what was going on in this Bristol shopping centre. But it's a fucking brilliant track, and the whole album's really, really good. No two tracks are the same. There's some really serious, heavy bass in there. And Catlin, the bass, the synthesist, says, you know, I'm actually trying to make people shit themselves with his bass. And if you turn it up loud, it does really vibrate every molecule in your body. And while all that's going on, you got the guitars are really corroded, really distorted. The synth sounds, there's lots of electronics. They're all pretty wrecked and burned out synth sounds.
Yeah.
And then shrieks and loops as well. So I do think they're absolutely brilliant. Very much looking forward to getting the new album next month, as you say. There's a listening party on Bandcamp on Monday, I think.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock. So you get to hear the music and get to hear some of the commentary from the band, what they were thinking, what they were doing, where they recorded it, and so on, which would be quite interesting. Have a listen.
This album's on Sacred Bones, isn't it?
I think it's Fire Talk. This album, most of their stuff has been on Fire Talk.
Sacred Bones, because I often look on the Sacred Bones website. Perhaps I'm wrong. I might be thinking.
You might be thinking something else. Something else, completely different band. Yeah, there you go. That's it for that one.
Excellent. Well, I like a peach, so that's good enough for me.
You might have had Peaches by Stranglers.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on. So my next one. that is a really good song, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Peaches by Stranglers. Yeah.
Not one of the best, but it is a good song.
No, but yeah, could have made for some good stories. Fucking hell. Well, there you go. Yes. Okay, well, anyway, my next one is going back to one of my favourite bands, and we're back with Slowdive.
Oh, goodness me. They do come back again, don't they?
They do. I can't help it. And weirdly, I posted... so the album is Souvlaki.
Right, you mentioned that one before.
And the song is Souvlaki Space Station, and Souvlaki being a Greek sausagey dish meaty thing.
Beautifully described. I'm sure Greek chefs around the world will be in awe.
Yes, I'm sure next time I go back to Greece, I'll get a good fucking slap for that. But yes. So, Souvlaki Space Station, track from, as I said, Souvlaki, the album. Weirdly, I just put up on our Instagram page, I did... we seem to have a lot of people who are into shoegaze, of which... obviously, Slowdive are the kings and queens, really, or kings and queen of shoegaze. And I did after I went to see My Bloody Valentine, I put Loveless on there, and that so far has racked up around about 850,000 views.
Blimey.
So, and lots of people saying, "Oh yeah, My Bloody Valentine is brilliant," but Slowdive, Souvlaki is. So the other day I said, right, well, let's have a look at Souvlaki by Slowdive, and talked about that. That's just about to hit 100,000.
Okay.
So that's clocking up the views as well. And then amongst the shoegazers on Instagram, the Holy Trinity seems to be Loveless, Souvlaki, and Nowhere by Ride.
Okay.
So I've done Nowhere by Ride now, and that's only got 10,000 views. So there is a definite hierarchy there at the moment. I mean, obviously they're quite a distance apart, so for views, but anyway. So Souvlaki released in 1993 on Creation Records, the second Slowdive LP, and got some pretty good reviews when it came out. It was before that kind of time when Britpop started coming in, and shoegaze just went, yeah, whatever, and everyone just got, shoegaze was shit. And when their next album, Pygmalion, came out, it got pretty much hammered. Although Pygmalion was more along the ambient dub side, and Souvlaki Space Station is kind of, you can see them going along that track. It's kind of well, Neil Halstead, when he wrote it, has since cited Aphex Twin, dub music, and early drum and bass as influences for that particular track. And where I can't really see the drum and bass as definite dub, it's a very dubby sounding, almost, and it is almost an ambient track, and an absolute cracker. They've played it live. I can't remember when they've definitely played it live when I've seen them over the last few years, and it's a really good live. There's a total spaciousness to it, despite the fact that it is named after a Greek sausage. That aren't particularly spacious, because you always get one, you think, is that it? Fucking hell, where's the rest of it?
Do you know why they chose that as the title? What the connection might be?
Yes, I do, actually. Right. It's from a skit by a couple of American guys called the Jerky Boys. He used to do prank phone calls.
Okay.
And apparently one of them telephones a hotel manager requesting him to perform sexual acts on his wife. And when he learns the manager is Greek, the caller says, "My wife loves that Greek shit. She'll suck your cock like souvlaki."
And the guys and girls in Slow Dive loved the joke so much they thought they'd name a song after it. An album.
Apparently so,
wow.
Yes. This was the 90s, though, so I don't know whether this is an excuse or not. But yeah. So yeah, and Souvlaki is one of my favourite. And if I had to pick a favourite shoegaze album, I would probably pick. Weirdly, when I listened to Ride, I hadn't listened to My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, and Ride in close proximity for decades. And if you listen to shoegaze bands now, they all tend to edge towards that kind of My Bloody Valentine, Loveless type thing, with hints of Slow Dive, and that's become de rigueur for, or appears to be for, shoegaze these days. But the Ride album is so different. It's more you kind of a normal rock album. But with kind of this like psychedelic jangly guitar, but when their guitars go, they fucking go. There's probably overdriven guitars, but it's more of a post rocky type, what you'd now call post rock, kind of a Mogwai type guitar sound with kind of oodles of like screeching feedback as well.
Right. I saw Ride and it seemed very dull to me, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, they were never my favourite. I liked Ride, but it just goes to show that back in that day, shoegaze covered quite a wide variety of bands, where it's all over the years. It's kind of narrowed to a certain sound.
But you mentioned there about kind of shoegaze now. Are there many bands doing that? Are there many bands?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. It's very popular, very popular. Probably more popular now than doing its heyday. Really,
but all these bands, you say, most of these bands are emulating Slow Dive to some degree.
Yeah, to varying degrees of success. I mean, some of them are kind of a bit more. Yeah, I mean, you've got My Bloody Valentine. You've got like the Isn't Anything stage, which was was kind of noisy rock, and then edged towards there. And then obviously he got into not so much the effects, but the bend in the guitars and everything, for the wooziness of Loveless.
More wooziness.
I find Loveless quite woozy. That kind of woozy.
Yeah.
You know, and the same with, whereas I mean, Slowdive is more along the kind of Cocteau Twins guitar sound to a degree as well. Although when they get going, I mean, you see them live now; they're fucking phenomenal.
Right.
They've got this brilliant light show and video projection at the back that just completely complements the songs, and it's completely different, you know, experience than just seeing the bands like in the 90s. I saw Slowdive and Ride back in the 90s, and it was great fun because it was just just this fucking noise, you know, and it was fabulous. But it's more of a, you know, they've kind of refined it to just it's more of a work of art watching Slowdive at work now, you know, with the, you know, and as I say, the videos just completely complement the sound. And it's such an experience.
What do they show videos of?
Oh, it's just, I mean, it's kind of psychedelic patterns kind of thing. But
okay.
that's why it's, you know, it's this dreaminess. There's this massive dreaminess to it all.
Right.
And like I said when I was waxing lyrical about them last time, you know, it's like you could just put your arms out, just get carried off on the fucker. It's absolutely glorious. Whereas My Bloody Valentine is more of a kind of a bit more torturous, but in I don't know, in a kind of a feeling it kind of way. You know, you still feel it, but it's more of a you get more into a trance really with just the power and pummeling noise. Right. But I haven't seen Ride in ages, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I imagine it's quite. But yeah, but the sort of Ride, you know, the squealing feedback has kind of left it a bit. I mean, one of my favourite bands at the moment, or one of my favourite records at the moment, is the Lemon Days LP that I was talking about the other day. Then they're a local band, and they've been knocking around for you know, quite some time now, and this is their first record. But you can tell that all the time they've been working on this sound, and it's quite phenomenal. I love it. I love their EP. I think it's quite fantastic.
Okay.
But they're definitely along the slowdivey route as well. But they're pulling in their influence from elsewhere as well. So yeah. So that's my thoughts on shoegaze.
Well, again, that's again your thoughts on shoegaze.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, but anyway, so tentative. So you know, tenuously, souvlaki. There you go. There's my food.
Well, you definitely got food in there. I think the link between the song title and the reason for doing it might be a little bit more tenuous, but who knows? We'll never know.
No, absolutely.
Okay, my next one, I think 4, is a song called Dog Garden Barbecue, which I'm guessing you don't know that one. You probably don't know the band. You might have heard of them. It's a terrible name for a band, but there is a reason for it, apparently. It's Go Go Penguin.
Oh, right. No, I don't. Are they jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know them.
A kind of electronic jazz kind of thing. And I think they're brilliant. I think
I've seen them. I've seen them on TV.
Yeah.
I think. Did they get nominated for a Mercury Music Prize?
They have been, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm. Yeah, it's probably where I know them from. Yeah. They're pretty good. I quite liked them. I never really investigated them very much, but. Sorry, carry on.
That's okay. I think
the floor is yours.
Give me the floor. Yeah, I think they're really, really good. It's a terrible name, but apparently it was the result of their being pissed, which is quite often the root cause of anything. You could stop there, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
But there was more to it. They had a weird looking stuffed penguin that for some reason they'd picked up for 20 quid or something. Don't know why they picked it up, but they were pissed, and they came to believe, or at least one of them came to believe, that this stuffed weird looking penguin was telepathically telling them what the name of the band should be, and therefore it became Go Go Penguin.
We've all been there.
Telepathically, especially to stuffed toys. I was spoken to by a bush once. But we won't go into that.
Fucking who are you, Moses? Fucking hell.
Anyway, they're a very excellent band. And as you quite rightly say, they're jazz, kind of modern jazz. Pianist Chris Illingworth, double bassist Nick Blacker, and drummer John Scott. And they're all absolutely fantastic musicians, which is hardly surprising because they met at, shortly after they'd all been to music college. Two of them went to the Royal Northern College of Music and the other went to Leeds College of Music. So they are all very, very competent musicians, but they play together so brilliantly as well. And it is a melange of jazz, classical and electronic music. They formed in 2012 and they all write the music. There's no single songsmith. And strangely enough, you were talking about your previous one being Aphex Twin influenced. Well, these also say they're influenced by Aphex Twin, as well as Radiohead, Burial, Portishead, Bjork, and Ala Raka, who is an Indian tabla player. So there's a whole mess of different influences in there. There's not much out there about them beyond that. I've got 5 of their 7 studio albums so far, and they're all brilliant, really absorbing. And you can even if you don't like the music much, you can but marvel at their technical prowess and the way it all fits together. Weirdly, in lockdown, we all remember those halcyon days of lockdown. A lot of bands who still needed to play and still needed to earn money were doing online concerts. And I attended a Go-Go Penguin online concert, which is a bit weird. So I was sitting here in my studio with a couple of bottles of alcohol-free lager and a big family bag of jalapeno crisps. Turned the lights off, cranked the volume up, and it was okay. I mean, when you couldn't go out anywhere really and do anything, I don't go to many gigs anyway, but when you can't do anything at all and bands needed the income, they needed to still be supported because their income dropped to 0 pretty much. It seemed like the right thing to do, and it was fun to watch. But I did a few of those. I don't know if you did any of those.
I didn't know. I couldn't see the point really.
It was okay.
I didn't really want to be reminded of how much I missed live music. I think. You know,
I saw the Subhumans at one of those, and Future Islands. I did, funnily enough, I did a whole fucking weekend Icelandic music festival remotely. Which was really fucking strange, but it was good. It was good to be supporting all of those bands and helping them to keep an income, and it was good just to kind of remember that as we were trawling through week after month of incessant lockdown, that there was life still happening somewhere. So was it ideal? Was it perfect? Well, no, but similarly, I didn't have to get in my car and drive 200 miles or whatever and stand in a fucking drafty hall waiting for them to come on.
Fair play.
So it was all right. But anyway, so this track, Dog Garden Barbecue, is from their 2014 album V2. It's their second album. It's a great track. It's not the best of their stuff, but it is a great track because it produced some absolutely brilliant records, but it begins with these jagged chords and then it bubbles up in an intricate kind of drum and bass amalgam as it starts to take off, and all of them are playing pretty intricate music right from the outset, as jazz musicians often do. The piano is running all over the place as if it's trying to find its way out of a burning room, and the drums are pattering and fizzing with hyperactive activity, and the bass is just driving along with dark determination while all this splintering and crackling and electronics is going on all around it. It's like a three-way musical cage fight, really, but it's enthralling. They are an instrumental band, so there's absolutely no indication what Dog Garden Barbecue might be about. There's nothing I'll find online anywhere.
Can I posit a guess?
I knew you were going to.
A barbecue in a dog garden. Maybe.
It could be. The way I thought of it was perhaps when you're sitting outside with a book on a summer afternoon and the neighbour's little dog is yapping away, and when their back's turned, you hoik it over the fence and slap it on the barbecue. It's probably not quite. But that's never happened to me. Of course.
Is that some kind of confession? Or, I mean, it's just.
I've never, as far as I can remember, been irritated by the sound of a dog barking in the afternoon. But I just thinking, garden dog barbecue. What could it mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, good band, good musicians, good song, and some great music out there. If you are inclined to go and investigate it,
yeah, I must pay a bit more attention to them because, like I say, when I've seen them, I've really enjoyed them. But then I just forget and I don't. I just don't bother listening.
Well, again,
to
it comes back. There's so much that there's coming at you from every angle, isn't there? You can't buy everything that sounds good. I mean, you get adverts from record companies and that, or deluges of Bandcamp and notifications, new album, new record, new EP. And sometimes you'll have the time to go and listen to some of them, and sometimes you'll think, well, that's not too bad, but it's not brilliant. And there are about 60 other records I'm going to buy.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Okay, so my final food-related song is a song called Baked Potato.
Okay. I love a baked potato. Baked potato is a fine food.
And it comes from probably my favourite punk album of the last 40 years, if not longer.
Bloody hell.
This album is other than the first wave of punk records, this is probably my favourite punk record of all time. And it's an album called Mush by a band called Leatherface.
Right.
And I fucking love Leatherface. And Mush is just simply one of the greatest punk LPs ever made. Baked Potato, in all honesty, isn't even the best song on it. It's just about food. So, but Leatherface are a punk band were a punk band from Sunderland, formed back in 1988 by Frankie Stubbs and Andrew Lang and Dickie Hammond, guitar player, who sadly passed away in 2015. And they were described as Husker Du meets Motorhead at their peak. And The Guardian called Mush an LP which has influenced every hardcore, post-hardcore, call it what you want, punk group that exists anywhere across the globe.
That's a big statement.
It is that fucking influential. I mean, you know, it's just for gruff sounding punk rock, two guitars, as Dickie Hammond used to say, both playing different tunes, but it just meshed, you know, brilliantly. And Mush was the zenith of their career, the zenith,
the apex.
And it was, I just can't even put into words how much I love Mush. It is just a perfect LP for me. And in fact, there used to be I can't remember what the fanzine was called. There was an online fanzine years ago. I think it's called Deep Fry Bonanza. And the guy who ran it, I used to swap Leatherface DVDs and CDs with him. And he described track 5, 6, and 7 of Mush as the holy trinity of punk rock. It was Not a Day Goes By, Not Superstitious, and Springtime. Springtime is one of the greatest songs about
spring,
lost love, or broken love ever made. And the final track, Dead Industrial Atmosphere, is a fucking masterpiece. It is just a growling anthem for the northeast of England. And he's just fucking genius. Baked Potato is just about, you know, everyone knows which way the wind blows. Everyone knows how to cook baked potatoes. You know, that's about it. But I mean, and live, oh my goodness, live they were fucking phenomenal. I saw them as a 3-piece because Dickie Hammond was kind of in and out of the band and the live lineup, but saw them with Dickie in a couple of times, and it was just absolutely amazing. And when he died, there was actually an article in the Guardian about Dickie Hammond and Leatherface, a proper like full-page article, which you just wouldn't. You just wouldn't believe, I
don't know. The Guardian are lefties.
It was called Melancholia and Raw Pain: The Sad End of Leatherface, and it was a genuinely heartfelt, article about the death of Dickie, and how we never hear Leatherface again.
Unless you put the record on.
Unless you put the record on, yeah. But they did other albums. I mean, Minx was a cracker. Fill Your Boots, that was great. Their final album, Stormy Petrel, was up there with Mush, and it was totally unexpected that it would be as good as it was. It was like 6 years after the previous LP, and it came out, and it was like a proper take your breath away LP.
Berlin.
Sorry?
Berlin.
Berlin
Take
what?
your breath away.
Oh, for fuck's sake. When I actually have to ask what the fuck you're talking about when you crack a joke,
They're the best kind.
Oh dear. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you want to listen to one of the greatest punk LPs of all time, Mush is your, closely followed by Dillinger Fall versus God, for great punk albums of the last 40 years. But yeah, Leatherface. I'm resisting the urge to talk about Leatherface for an hour because I fucking could. I could. They are just one of my favourite bands of all time, and like I say, I would say that Mush is probably in my top 5 LPs ever.
But
it's that good. It really is an absolute banger of an LP.
There's an episode to be had there, top 5 LPs ever.
Yeah.
That would be a tough one. We could do that every month and have a different top 5 depending on how we feel.
Yeah. But Mush, I think Mush is probably always in there for me. It's just got that. It's got that grr to it, that makes you want to fucking, clench your fists and just sing along. In Frankie Stubbs' gravelly voice, it's just I can't even, I like I say, I could talk about Mush.
Yes, yeah, struggling to articulate.
Hours. Yeah. I just can't tell you how much I love that record.
Yeah,
I really do. It is absolutely superb. I mean, and even the B-sides and the other things they recorded around that time are fantastic as well. In fact, the CD had a cover of "Message in a Bottle" by Police, which is sorry, I got something in my mouth.
Are you doing?
Which is an absolute banger of a cover version. In fact, they did some great cover versions. They did "Eagle" by ABBA.
Oh, did they?
They did "True Colours" by Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, yeah.
They did. They were best friends with Wat Tyler, and they did a couple of Wat Tyler covers. They did some great cover versions.
Okay.
But yes, they're talking about "Revolution" by Tracy Chapman, Nick Cave, Ship Song.
Right.
Yeah. But yes.
Cool.
Anyway, so yes, Baked Potato by Leatherface and Mush by Leatherface. I'm really tempted to just put the whole fucking album on the playlist because it deserves to be heard. It really
I
does.
quite like Leatherface, and they are good live. They were good live. I saw them live. I don't have many of the records. I got 1 album or 2 albums, I think. Yes, good band, but I don't have quite the reverence for them that you do. But that's absolutely fine.
Yes. You should listen to Mush if you haven't heard it.
I should.
It is a banger.
Okay.
It is a banger of an album. So your last
My last
pick.
this will be a relatively brief one because whilst the track is really, really good, I don't know an awful lot about the people involved, and I don't have a great many records to talk through either. So we'll go straight to it. The piece of music is called "Please Wake Me for Meals." I'm quite certain you won't know this one, but we shall
Don't
see.
ring any bells.
It's by Barbara Morgenstern and Robert Lippock.
Oh, yeah, I know Barbara Morgenstern. Yeah.
You know the name, okay.
Yeah, Robert Lippock used to be in...
To a Cocoa Rot.
Yes.
That's it.
I've got a load of her CDs, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Very little surprises you, is there?
Some of which are better than others, actually.
Yes.
She does a nice line in electropop. For want of a better description.
I've heard of the electropop. I've heard some more of the slightly more experimental stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm more to the poppier side, and you're probably more to the experimental side.
Yeah, but I haven't really heard any of their poppier stuff.
I've got a mix CD by Robert Lippock as well somewhere.
Oh, right. I've got a few To a Cocoa Rot albums, which are okay.
Barbara Morgenstern does a lot. I think the main amount of stuff. The most amount of stuff I've got of hers is her solo stuff.
Oh, right.
And that's the poppier side. Although there's some experimental in there as well.
Yeah. Well, she's done quite a lot of collaborations. Harmonia, Fatima Al-Qadiri, Hauschka. She was in a band called...
Oh, she's fucking awesome. Fatima Al-Qadiri.
She is good. Yes, I like that.
Fuck me. Yeah. She did... What's the one with the face?
Yes, the
like the Teletubby copper. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I've got it, but I don't know. I can't remember what it's called.
No, I can't remember either. In fact, I was playing it the other Brute.
Yes.
Brute, it's called. Yeah, that is superb. I was playing it the other day, and I was on her website. She's got a website that looks like old Windows operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a cracker of an LP. That is.
Well, she's done some stuff with Barbara, and
okay.
But that is a good album. I don't think she's features on it. I'd never bothered to have a look to see whether she'd been part of the one of the musicians on that album. But yes, and then Lippock, as you say, he was probably more famously known as a member of To Rococo Rot, the palindromic post-rock electronic band. But he originally started out as a costume designer for German state opera, which is an odd place to start when you wouldn't necessarily have thought. But he's probably the more outre of them. He builds his own instruments and he does a lot of research work in creativity, and does educational lectures on experimental music and all kinds of stuff like that. He's big into installations as well, where the whole space is sculpture, graphic arts and music. The whole lot all works together. This song is very clean electronics, very pure sound. It's unadulterated by a lot of obtrusive signal processing. It's all very analog built, and there's an analog kick drum in there, an analog clap / snare drum, a bit of filtering on a sawtooth synth, and some bell-like tones. They've got it set so the attack on the synth is very, very fast, so you even get the digital clicks. Again, one of the kind of things where we've talked about all the noise that gets put onto records intentionally, static and surface noise and so on, that gets put onto digital music to give it that more organic, that more authentic feel. Well, people have been doing this for years as well with analog synths, whereby you got an ADSR and you set the attack so that you don't hear these clicks and you don't hear the non-musical artifacts that come with the sounds out of analog synths and even digital synths as well. And we used to try and engineer those out, but it's become quite, I don't know, fashionable, the word, over the more recent years to leave that all in. Kind of glitch-tronica and people like Aphex Twin or Kid 606 or whatever.
I remember there was a lot of that around the early 2000s, wasn't there?
Yeah, and
a lot of stuff coming from Germany and Europe. The Rasta Noton bands, and there was a lot of that. Yeah,
indeed,
had lots of really cool mixes, and I've bloody lost them all.
Okay.
There were loads. You could download them. There'd be sites with all these mixes of all these weird and wonderful bands with all these clicks and glitches and everything. And I had to clear out of old CDs, and I had a load of them burned CDs. I fucking chucked them out, unfortunately.
Damn.
And then realised I didn't know where to get them. There's no way to find them anymore.
Well, the thing with burned CDs, because I had a purge not long ago, and burned CDs where you've kind of transferred an old decaying cassette to a CD on a CD burner, they only last a few years, and they start to click and pop and degrade as well quite often.
Okay.
So I've had to throw quite a few of those out. Yes, so it's lots of analog synths, very nicely put together, not complicated, but very nicely put together, and you can hear and feel that the musicians are manually producing it as they go along. So they're hands-on with all the knobs and filters and so on, and they're twisting it around manually. I suppose they might have done it by MIDI, but I get the very real sense that these aren't people who are very MIDI inclined. It's hands-on and turning those knobs and letting the sounds evolve at your fingertips rather than telling the computer how to do it. It's got some really nice melodies that trip in and out. It's not dance music, but you could dance to it. It is just nice with a pulsing kind of beat to it. And it comes from a 2005 album that the two of them did together called Tesri, although I first heard it on a compilation album which was showcasing the Berlin label Mark B05. Berlin label that does all this electronic stuff, and they have, well, this track was on there, but I've subsequently listened to the album Tesri, and it's interesting, and it's quite nice, but the sampler album, the compilation album, is really good. It's got a fantastic track called 28 Days by Jersey, and Party of Two Parts by Frank Bretschneider, and one called I Hate the 80s by Duran Duran Duran, which is really good.
Excellent.
Which is all ripped up samples and loops of Yazoo's Don't Go with some manic electro percussion.
Oh
It's really quite. I don't know if that's on Spotify. I'll have a look actually, because it's worth hearing.
Yeah.
But it's a fine, quirky slice of real electronica, because you couldn't call it anything else other than electronica. And a lot of things get called electronica, everything from stuff which is patently dance music to stuff which is patently pop music. But this really is electronica, because it's almost like the instruments are as important as the sounds they're making, because you can hear the instruments, the way it's set up. But it's good, it's interesting, and I really like that song. I really like that track.
Cool. Oh, I'll have a listen to that. Like I say, I do like Barbara.
That is on Spotify, so I know I can stick
Excellent. Yeah. I'll have to see if I'll have to see if I can find all the CDs I've got by her. I'm sure they're in a box under my bed. I've got so many fucking CDs. They're all over the frigging place. Fucking things.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's the end of that then.
It is, yeah.
And that's our food. And despite all the handicaps we've had this week,
it's been a ropey week this week, and we're both knackered, and we're both generally confused.
Yes, you having trouble remembering what day it is. I'm having trouble remembering what we're supposed to be talking about in the podcast.
Hi, Jake. Here we go. Yeah, we're doing. No, we're not doing that. Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. And then you going, but what about Wednesday? And I'm going, it is Wednesday. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, God, a couple of old duffers, aren't we?
Yeah, it's been a rare week.
Anyway, before we end, Jake has suggested that we both pick 5 LPs just to list what we've been listening to this week. And no more than one sentence to describe why, if we feel the need to.
Yeah.
So, do you want to list your 5 first?
I can do. Yeah, it's quite easily done. What I've been listening to this week, more than anything else, Nighthawks at the Diner by Tom Waits.
Okay.
Magnetic Seasons by Mugstar.
Right.
Wild.
That's an old one. Is that an old one?
2016.
90s? Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Dubstar.
Yeah, Mugstar's a kind of like a psychedelic rock thing. I've been listening to Wild God Live, which is a double album, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Nick Cave, yeah.
And then it's not an album, but it's an EP, Reprisal / Empire Systems Reworks, which is remixes of Raphael Anton Irisari by Kevin Martin and Penelope Traps, which is a really good.
Sounds interesting. Yes. Was that 5?
What did I say?
I've lost count
Tom
then.
Waits, Mugstar, Nick Cave, Kevin Martin. Oh no! So another one, a fifth one then that I haven't listened to. Only arrived this week. Sidings, the new double album from Craven Falls, which is immense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this week I've mainly been listening to, as I said earlier, Lemon Days, the Subtext EP, a band called Homefront, Watch It Die, who sound like The Cure locked in a room with a UK 82 punk band, possibly Blitz. Dub Excursions by Another Channel, which is dub. Anna von Housewolf, Iconoclast. I've been giving that a good listen because I went to see her last night and she was fucking amazing. In real life, not in podcast life, because podcast life we were going, but she didn't play in the middle of February. No, but bear with me. And I've been listening to Tallulah Gosh, Was It Just a Dream? Because Lily has discovered 80s jangle pop. And asked me to do a playlist, and Tallulah Gosh was on there, and I loved Tallulah Gosh, and lots of other good bands from around that time went on there as well.
Okay,
so
good.
yeah, so that's our 5 to listen to this week.
Are we going to do those on the playlist as well?
I don't know. If anyone wants us to, anyone wants us to put a playlist together of the stuff we do, just let us know, and we'll do a separate one. It wouldn't take 5 minutes.
Let's not do them on the main.
I can do a separate playlist of stuff we've been listening to. In fact, I will. If you send me yours, I'll do that, and we'll. Yeah. So yes, we're going to do it, listeners. Obviously, I have to say hello to the greatest playlist ever, guys. DJ Substance, Brooklyn Pete, and Robin. I listened to their latest podcast this week, and I think we've been a bit of a bad influence on them because they did take us up on that 70s challenge.
Oh.
Although it did seem to be a lot of Sweet, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're a lot. Sweet were very popular out there. Apparently, there was some Bowie, and they just had a chat about it. But this is where we were bad influence on them because they went on and on about it, and I thought that sounds a lot like us getting a bit waylaid on us, and then kind of having to pull it back and go, "Fucking hell, we should be doing a podcast." Stop. As evidenced by our fucking Tarzan meow.
Yeah, popping back in.
Yes. So yeah. Oh, did you ever know what the Tarzan Raw was made of?
The Tarzan what?
The Tarzan Raw. You know.
Oh, yes. It was an amalgam, wasn't it, of various different creatures?
Yeah, lots of animals. Yeah. There was a dinosaur from an old, or dinosaur sound from an old film or something. Yeah. I can't remember the rest. So yeah, that was quite interesting as well. Umgawa Matanga. Yeah, so I don't know if he ever said I know he said Umgawa. I don't know where the Matanga bit came from, actually. I'm sure that's probably something completely unrelated.
I think due to your dad, probably more than anything else, you've watched an awful lot more of it than I have.
I have watched far too many Tarzan films. Yeah. Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a film, because there was another one that used to come on Saturday mornings, I think, and whether it was an episodic series or whether they were always films that came on, I don't really know.
I think the only series was the Ron Ely one. The rest of them were all films, but I think the early Tarzan films, the 40s, 30s, and 40s ones weren't overly long.
Okay, it might have been because of that.
I think they were quite brief, so could have just been that. Yeah. But ready for the next episode, I'll compile a list of all the Tarzans I can find, and I'll just read them out, just to annoy you fundamentally.
It doesn't annoy me at all that you know these things. Yeah. I feel sorry for you.
Do you know, there's another one who's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think. All I've got on my head is Johnny Weissmuller, Mike Henry, and Mike Henry's a fucking great big Mr. Universe, I think.
There's Ron Ely and
Lex Barker and Ron Ely. But there's another one in there in the middle somewhere, and I can't quite put my name. But anyway, enough of that bollocks. So yeah, that's him. Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. So we will. So I think this is the last one we're recording. I know we do another before we go to India, and then
and
then Jake goes to India, and I'll pretend that he's here by just existing in podcast world, which means just kind of eking them out 10 days, every 10 days. So what, you won't even know he's gone.
You won't.
You won't even know he's
will.
gone unless he gets eaten by a
Tiger.
Oh, what do they have into tiger, and I have to have an AI. Jake.
I'm more concerned not so much about being eaten by a tiger, but by being shot down by the USS Vincennes in the Gulf as we fly over it or something.
Yeah, I'll send him your details.
Yeah, gonna run the gauntlet.
He's proper fucking dodgy. He's proper fucking dodgy. You might want to send a missile up there. Yeah.
All right.
Right. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for listening, and we will
see you next
you
time.
all very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.